It's time to hand out the awards for some of the worst moments for ordinary investors in 2014. I'm joined by Susan Antilla, founding fellow of TheStreet Foundation. Susan, you have some very special awards for the Wall Street firms and their regulators who messed with our heads in 2014. Who's in your crosshairs?
Well, there's a lot of hypocrisy out there, but my very favorite is SIFMA, which is the biggest lobbying group for Wall Street firms. SIFMA's been out there getting a lot of credit for its stock market game for kids, which is great. Kids learn math, and also its investor literacy efforts. And so they look, on one hand, like a big friend of the investor, but as fast as they do that, they're out there pushing very hard to make sure that stockbrokers don't have to raise their service to clients to a fiduciary level, which would mean putting their own interests, putting their clients' interests rather, ahead of their own. So I would say on balance that they are not doing a good job for small investors.
Well, and speaking of SIFMA, you also gave SIFMA the Do As I Say, Not As I Do award. What's that for?
Well, SIFMA in November, they had a big ceremony. They gave out diversity awards. One went to Prudential and the other went to Goldman Sachs. What they didn't mention is that Goldman is the target of a significant class action sex discrimination case. The other thing they didn't mention was that only 3 days before they gave out those diversity awards, they had their annual meeting in New York City. They had 29 speakers, and only 3 of those speakers were women. So I would say SIFMA could do a little work on its own diversity.
Well, what about FINRA? You also took its stab at the self-regulator for Wall Street. What are they doing wrong?
Well, FINRA has this problem. They think that public means not public. They have a board of governors with 25 people on it, and they try to tip the balance in favor of the public by having 13 of those seats be public representatives. But last month they announced 2 new board members, and one of them previously had worked at E-Trade. The other one previously had worked at Morgan Stanley. So, the only thing I can say is that maybe we should nominate Elizabeth Warren for one of those industry seats, because this all seems pretty upside down to me.
Well, not great awards to be giving out, but good information to have. Thank you so much, Susan Antilla, founding fellow of TheStreet Foundation.
Thank you, Brittany.
And I'm Brittany Umar for TheStreet.